Hi guys, welcome back to the Player YouTube channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new Audi A3, and this one is the Sportback, and it's also the S line. There's many different trims, there's many different bits and pieces that you and I need to take a look at in order for us to give you our final evaluation of this new car from Audi.
So the one thing about the Audi A3 is it's a good looking car. Check it out, it's a little bit lower than its predecessor. I like that because it makes it more aggressive at the front, including this massive great grille you've got here. Unfortunately it does have a couple of fake vents, but I don't think it detracts from its looks. The vent here, and there's another one under the bonnet here. But you've got to agree, it's really nice and slick. You get standard LEDs with this and running lights as well. They're called matrix LEDs, really sexy. Remember that film? And here, well, I really love these rims. They are really nice with the grey and the silver. With the S line you get 18-inch rims, but on the entry-level Technica you only get 17-inch. Obviously you can upgrade those if you want to. There's still quite a gap from here to the actual bodywork, and that's also the same at the back here. And I think the extra size in the rim would be even better if you went up to the 19s, which is the top line that you can get for it. All in all, it's a great car, isn't it, so far? Let's have a look under the bonnet, I'll tell you a little bit about the engine. Right, let's take a look under the bonnet. The catch for the bonnet is just down here. In the UK it's on the driver's side, but if you're somewhere overseas it'll be on the passenger side, of course. Right, the actual latch is in the middle there. It's a nice big lever, and you'll also notice there is a nice big strut here that pushes that bonnet up. You're not fiddling about looking for the stay bit that you've got to put in there. I like things like that. Okay, this is the TDI, this is the diesel. This is the 2-litre 4-cylinder diesel, develops around about 150 brake with 360 Newton meters of torque, so it's quite a powerful engine in the low range. It's also available in a petrol engine as well. You can get it in a 1-litre 3-cylinder engine, you can get a 1.5 4-cylinder, and you can also get a 2-litre 4-cylinder engine as well. That's in the TFSI versions of this. They're all mated up to a nice new 7-speed auto gearbox. All in all, the car is very compact. As you can see, there's not a lot to see. So, in that case, rather than bore you any further, let's get round the back and see how much stuff you can put in the back of this car. So I don't know whether it's me or not, but I still think this car from the back looks absolutely spectacular. It's just the whole shape and the whole design of it is so much nicer than the old one. Let's start at the very top, as we always should do. Got a nice little shark fin radio aerial up there for your DAB radio. You get this sort of spoiler bit across the back here, which is really handy because it keeps all the muck and everything flying over the back here and not covering that rear screen. Inside there is a brake light, which is really good, very handy. Rear wash and wipe, very nice. Love these sweeping LEDs that run around the side here as well. Really nicely done until we start getting a little bit lower, and then we become a little bit plasticky and a bit fake. Probably a bit like my ex-wife, to be honest with you, and if she's watching, sorry darling, but you do deserve it. Down here, fake exhaust and sort of all plasticky and a bit fake. I would have thought from a car of this magnitude, this sort of stature, you'd get a little bit more, you know, at least get a twin exhaust put on here. Look really nice. Let's take a look inside. You do get, there's no obviously electronically assisted tail lift, but you do get a couple of decent struts. In here, oh, almost getting wet there, you get 380 litres of boot space, which is fantastic. Once you put the seats down, you need 1200 litres of boot space. It's enough to put a double bed in there, it's huge. Inside, well, let's start again at the top. The dreaded parcel shelf. And you know what I normally do with these when I can't fit them in anywhere? Because you're out on the road, you know, you're trying to do bits and pieces, suddenly someone says, oh, could you give me a lift? And I've got the pushchair. And you're like, well, what do I do with this? And the kids have to sit with it on their lap. Well, not with the Audi A3, because look, check that out guys, that goes straight in there. That will even hold up for you, makes life so much easier, and then you just pop that down and it's gone, because that's where they should be, thrown away, useless things. In the top bit here, it comes with this nice sort of cargo-y neck thing that you can put over the top. Looks a bit like a pair of stockings. You also get a first aid kit, which is very handy. When you're picking your nose and you hit the brakes too hard and you end up cutting your nose. That's happened a few times. A 12-volt adapter over here, very handy as well. 2 little courtesy lights, one either side. And I was just looking for some little shopping bag holders. I suppose they could double up as shopping bag holders, these things here. They must be something like that. Let's put the seats down, and how easy is that going to be? Well, you should, if I'm right, be able to just pull it back from here. There you go. See? Absolutely perfect. Pop that one down as well like that. it goes almost flat, but you can see it is a huge, vast expanse in there. Really good. Loads of tether points, especially for the cargo net here. I'm going to move that over there and pull that out the way because I want to show you the next bit up. So we're going to lift that up like we did earlier, and we're going to take this out just for a minute. I'm going to put it over the back there just so it's out of the way because I want to talk to you about something. Right, now what you're going to notice is it's empty. Yeah? And you all know what these are. They're absolutely useless. That is the liquid that you plunge into the tyre when you get a puncture and it repairs it. No, it doesn't. Useless. That is the pump you get with it, which is good. It does pump it up. But because said gunk here doesn't work, you might as well just throw it all in the bin. What you need, I'm going to show you something. Stay right there because I've got it in the side of the door here. The reason I'm carrying it with me is because the other night, as you can probably tell, I had to use that and I didn't have my trusted little tool here. I'm going to show you what this is in a second. And I spent the best part of 20 minutes trying to get that gunk into the tyre because you have to take the valve out. I don't know if anybody, if you're aware of this, you'll know you take the valve out, then you have to pour it in, then you have to move the car forward, allow it all to go round, and then you can pump it up. And then it just blows out again because where I'd hit a pothole on the road, it had damaged the side of the tyre and there was no way it was going to get repaired. But it was, because this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is one of the most incredible presents I ever received. Now if I can actually get this thing out, there you go. Now take a look at this. This is, let's pop it out. So you get this thing, oh, it's all dropped out now. Sorry guys, let's grab these things. Look, I don't want to cut my fingers off either. Okay, so I'm going to put them here. So this thing here, what you do is, you thread one of these little things here. So you open this thing up. You see they're quite sticky. I suggest everybody goes out and buys one of these because it is so handy. It really got me out of trouble. Each one of these is a little strip. I'm not going to pull them off because, see that? It's like made of the same rubber that the tyre's made of. It's quite sticky as well. So I'll leave that in there. So you thread that through there, either side. Then you push that through into your tyre. You then turn it 1.5 times and then you gently pull it back out again. So you just see the ends of that ticking out. You then take your little razor blade thingy here, because you wouldn't have that, you wouldn't have a pair of scissors with you. You cut off the excess and job done. Now if you want one of these, I didn't get this for nothing. I actually got it as a present and they're quite expensive. You get 10 puncture repairs and it works, remember that. So all this rubbish here, throw it away. It's called the Crafty Plugger. There you go. I don't know who these people are. I don't know where you buy it from, but I've told you because they got me out of trouble. And the only person I can thank is my mate Steve, who bought me that for my birthday last year. Thanks Steve, got me right out of trouble the other night. Anyway, enough of me ranting on. Throw those stupid things away, or throw away the glove box, you know, the book, the manual. Throw it away. Don't print it, don't make it, manufacturers. Give us a spare wheel, give us a space saver. You know, one of those that we can throw in there, because there's room for it. We don't need any of this rubbish anymore. I've ranted, I've raved, I want to get rid of these. And they've ruined the tyre. This wouldn't have ruined the tyre. Let's get round the front, have a look, see what you get for your money up front. Okay, let's see what it's like up front for the driver. The first thing you're going to notice is how comfortable these seats are, but it's nothing short of what I expect from Audi. They do produce a lovely touring car, as I call it, a car that you can drive for hundreds of miles and you still get out feeling as fresh as a daisy. Just having a look around before we get started on what you actually get for your money up here. It's very slick, very minimal, but it's very nice. I do like this new layout. The old one was completely different. It had knobs. You know I love a knob, and unfortunately there's no knobs in here at all. Well, not that I can see anyway. Leave that one up to your imagination. I'm going to continue on here as a guest because it's asking me. It's keyless ignition system. It's on here. We're not going to put the foot on the brake because we don't want to start the engine, so we're going to put some power into the car. And it's just telling me I've left the door open. It's probably going to beep again in a minute just to say something else, another warning. Yeah, passenger airbag on, lovely. Right, it's done its little checks. We'll go okay on that. We'll put the key here in the middle for the minute while we're talking, and we'll pull the door to a little bit. Right, we will start on the right hand side. Here is where your lighting controls are. There's an auto setting and there's a simple button in the middle for your fog lights, and on the left hand side you can actually do it as an individual setting, so you can turn them on and off however you want to do it, which is really nice. Great steering wheel, Audi steering wheel. Can't beat an Audi steering wheel. These have been made for years. There's just something about an Audi steering wheel all the way through the range. they do feel just really nice, and I love the way they actually put the little S badge down there on the bottom. On the right of the steering wheel here, you've got your voice recognition system, so that's when you've got your Android mirroring or your Apple Play, you can push that and actually talk to your phone like you do when you push the button. You've got your telephone system on here, as I said. You've also got the scroll button here for moving across the menus, and you've got a lighting control button here as well. On the left hand side, you've actually got your menu, and you can set up your screen, and again you can scroll across, and now you can have a full map there, or you can then make that your digital instrument panel exactly the way you want it. It's a really nice setup. You've got a menu button here as well, change the map orientation, do all your bits and pieces. Again, over here on this big TFT touchscreen, it all sort of seamlessly integrates. It's really nice. You've got, oh, I didn't want to press emergency assist. Almost did. You've got lights and vision system, you've got everything. It's so simple to use. Push does what it says, so settings and service, etc. And then down the right here, you've got another load of buttons here which change the look of the screen. So therefore you've got your navigation system, etc. You've got your telephone system, and then your tunes, whatever you're playing. You've got digital radio, you can link straight up to your iPhone and play all your tunes off of that as well. Great stuff, we love it. Like I said, sadly no knobs in here, but you do get nice heated front seats, push of a button, very simple. 3 different settings there. You've got your air conditioning system. Again, it's not rocket science. Down here, a couple of extra buttons for your parking bits and pieces. Inside here you've got a USB and a USB-C, and I think with the added addition as an option you can have a wireless charger for your telephone in there as well. One thing I really don't like this on the new version of this car, there used to be a volume knob here in the old car, but they've replaced that with the 1980s iPod. Do you remember those where you used to turn your finger around, you could scroll backwards and forwards, and it's just really awkward to use, and it's yet another thing that could go wrong in this car. And to be honest, you need your sound, because not just for tunes and things like that, but for setting the sound on your telephone system, for example. And I just don't think that's a good idea. Another thing I don't like is this very small gear selector. It's just, I don't know, it's just me, I think I'm getting old. And you've got your start button there as well. I like all the piano black finish. It's going to get scratched over a period of time, but you know, it's really nicely solidly built, this as well. You get a double cup holder in the middle, but what I do like is that double cup holder, you can pull these little straps out like that. That's where you put your cups, but then if you want to use that for something else, they just fold back like that, and you've got a much nicer space. So that's a good little design. Little place here to well, you can either put your key in there, I suppose, if you wanted to, or some change, some loose change, you know. Well, don't even use those anymore to get through the barriers of the car parks. A tiny glove box. Is it really worth talking about that? No. Adjustable armrest there, so you can have your arm right up like that if you want, or you can drop it right down like that if you want. Glove box. Underneath the Remington Razor finish there, as I call it, the 1980s Remington Razor finish. Not the biggest of glove boxes. Again, you know, this goes back to what we were saying round at the back a second ago. We don't need all this. Look at all the work that's gone into this. How many of us actually use these manuals? We don't. This can all be online. That would be a saving enough to get a space saver wheel in the back there and not have to pay extra for it. I don't get that. We could go online and get this, guys. You could even go online in this car and get that. I'll put it away. Oh, look, it won't even go back in properly. There you go. What a waste of space. It's a nice finish, really subtle with all the lighting that runs through here. It shows up really nicely at night rather than during the day, but you can change the colours on this as well. It's lovely. It's a nice space to be in. It's got a decent sized windshield on it. Yeah, all in all, I think it's a great place for the driver. But what's it like for the passengers in the back? Is there enough room? Is it comfortable? Let's go and check it out. Right, before we get it out on the road, let's see what it's like in the back for the passengers. Well, straight away it's pretty tight getting in and out of this car, even though the door does fold back quite a way. There's not a lot of leg room here either. You can actually see where it's been designed in the back of the seat. You've got the knee sort of area here to allow you to have a fraction more room, but it just doesn't work. Manufacturers, please get rid of these stupid netting things that you put in the back. We don't have maps anymore and we don't keep anything in there. It's completely pointless and it looks absolutely appalling. Okay, I'm going to try and squeeze around in here because for once it is actually, I normally sort of wax lyrical about how much space is in the back of cars, but this is quite tight. I'm quite surprised. You get recessed seat belts here, which is good. So if you do have to slide across for any reason, or if you're trying to put stuff in and out, it's not going to get caught up in those. You get ISOFIX points either side, and they are nicely hidden away there with a little cover that just pulls backwards and forwards as such, like that. Nice leather, really nice and soft and supple. That's good, I like that, but you get that because we're up in the higher levels of this car, up in the S-Line range. Nice armrest again with a double cup holder, and that goes back, and in turn you get what I call the B&Q, also known as the ski rack or the ski box, where you can put your skis through, or the B&Q if you live in England, because you put your 2x1 timber when you go down to the DIY store. We'll go all the way through there rather nicely. There you go. Oh, it can act as an absolutely massive armrest, but it does look just stupid if you do that, to be honest with you. You get headrests in the back, which are nice and easily adjustable, and one in the middle as well. Let's check out what you get in the middle before I talk about the middle. It's a very, very high transmission tunnel, and look at the difficulty it is to move about in here. I'm not even going to make it into the middle because you're going to have to sort of squeeze around like that. And we haven't purposely put these seats back. That's how they are when we're sat up front. So it's very tight. I would say this is definitely a 4-person car. There's no 5th seat here. That's just a little bit of extra space. In the centre, again, very disappointing. You only get a 12-volt adapter. I mean, come on, Audi, please. You can at least put a couple of USBs in the back here, because that's what we use to charge our devices these days. And you could have at least allowed us to turn the air on and off. On this, it's just which way you want it blowing in your face. There's no way of turning it on or off. All in all, a little bit disappointing in the back here. I feel the only thing I do find is good is the fact you've got tinted windows. So during the summer, it's not going to get as hot as it would do if you didn't have tinted windows. So it's not a major, major plus point. We need to get this car out on the road and see what it drives like, because the A3, that's what it was always all about. It was the drive. So let's go do it, guys. Let's see and give a final evaluation of the Audi A3.
So the first thing you're going to notice when you get the Audi A3 Sportback out on the road is the way it feels to drive. It's very, very hatchback. It feels really sporty. It's a lot of fun, but at the same time, it's got a comfort level that's very much more of a saloon sort of. So it's that sort of cross right between the two. And I think if you take one of these for a test drive, you'll probably end up agreeing with me that it has its different faces, so to speak. And speaking of different faces, well, there are 5 different modes, and there's a button just down here in the middle. If you push that, so you've got an efficiency mode. We'll talk about the economy in a second. You've got a comfort mode, which is, oh, it's all popped off again. There we go. You've got an auto mode, so it sets it up itself, a dynamic mode, and then you've actually got an individual mode where you can set this car up exactly how you like it. So you can take elements of those modes and actually put them into an individual mode that you set up and that you like. So if you like the steering wheel a little bit heavier, you can do that, and so on. And also in the, let's go back to the modes again. In the dynamic mode, you do feel the difference in this car. Suddenly you get that full use of the brake horsepower, the 150 brake that comes with this 2-litre diesel engine. And you really feel that suddenly. But the only thing I noticed is the gearbox tends to use its full range of capacity on the gears. So it tends to sort of whir up a little bit in the lower gears. It's not, not a bad point, because it's giving you more value for your gearage, if you like. I like that, value for your gearage. We said we'd talk about economy in the efficiency mode. So if you're in the efficiency mode, long-term memory, again, you can access this using the steering wheel here. There's a menu button here, and you just scroll up and down. And the long-term memory on this says 41.6 miles to the gallon. Now, these cars, the A3 range itself, it can go up to 61 miles to the gallon, according to Audi. What you've got to remember is when we're filming these press cars, they are obviously very well used, if you get my drift. So they do a lot of miles, but the majority of those miles are done doing what we're doing now, driving around town. So it's never going to give a true reflection of the economy of this car. So please don't don't read into that too much. So take it with a big bag of salt, as I like to say. It does have the stall limiter thing that you push when the car stops. It shuts itself off. I've turned that off because there's a button in the middle there. It just really takes a couple of extra seconds too long, in my opinion, to come back on again. So I like it off. So again, that is going to affect the economy because it's not shutting down whenever I stop in traffic or at traffic lights. So yeah, again, you know, it all adds up when you come to that 41.6 it's showing at the moment. Safety aids. Right, let's talk safety aids with the Audi A3 Sportback. No blind spot mirrors. This is the S-Line model. There are no blind spot mirrors on this car. I'm a little disappointed in that. I would have liked to have had them. You get a couple of other bits and pieces. Obviously, you've got the autonomous braking in town, and you've got the anti-collision warning system as well, which seems to work very well. It's not oversensitive. You know, on some cars you get it, it's really, really oversensitive. Well, I'm pleased to report on the A3 it isn't. It actually does a proper job. It tells you, I think there could be an accident looming. Be a bit careful. And it goes beep, beep, comes up on the... It's not like, you know, a couple of other cars we've tested where it's always going off every time a mouse walks across the road in front of you. So yeah, I like that. It's got the distance control, it's got the cruise control, it's all on a separate stick down here. It's got the lane keepy as well, so it'll keep you in your lane when you're out on the motorway. These are all nice bits and pieces, we like that. It's all adding to the value of this car. Now, speaking of value, so this car, entry level starts around 24,500 UK pounds. Again, not a bad value for money. It can rise all the way. This S-Line model that we've tested today that you've been watching is 28,500 UK pounds. So it's got a few extra bits and pieces on it. So just have a good look. There's some good deals out there. The residual value on this car is quite high. So the actual lease finance deals anywhere in the world on this range from around the late 290s UK pounds up to around 320 UK pounds, depending on what deposit and how long you actually finance the car for. So I would thoroughly recommend taking a good look at those and seeing, you know, what you can get, the best deal you can get. Most importantly, I think, is you get out in one of these cars and give it a good drive, and, you know, at least spend time behind the wheel. And sitting behind this wheel, I said when we were talking about up front, it is a nice wheel. It's a lovely bolstered seat. It's a comfortable driving position, and the car itself is, well, with that 7-speed auto, it's as smooth as silk. It's really nice. I love the gearbox on this. I've actually, when I first drove the car, I almost felt this was the Quattro with the 4-wheel drive system. It's that good. Its grip control and its actual steering ability is excellent. It is only 2-wheel front drive, this car, but it just comes out. I think it's the way Audi build chassis, the way they build these cars. It's just so good, and I think it's just pure value for money. Guys, you know, you've been watching me, AJ the Player. I hope you've appreciated this review, and I hope it's helped you a little bit more in your decision as to whether to go and test drive an Audi A3 Sportback. I thoroughly recommend it. The Player is, you know, you've seen it, the Player, AJ the Player. The Player is a much bigger animal. It is not just a YouTube channel. In actual fact, I've got something free for you now, something that you might enjoy. It's a free Player bookazine or magazine, whatever you want to call it. It's online, and you just have to go to www.theplayer. Hang on a minute. It's coming in now. Look at that. www.theplayer.co.uk. I've even matched it to my jacket, so it blends in nicely. I hope you like that as well. So go to there, just put in your email and your name. There's no data capture because I'm old school. You know I'm like that. I'm not interested in all that. You need to do that just to get onto it. And then you can subscribe, and you've got a 200-page magazine for men, completely free of charge because you watch me on YouTube. So go and help yourself, fill your boots, as we say in the UK. It's brilliant. It's got wine on there, it's got golf, it's got cars, it's got boats, all the stuff us guys love. It's a man's magazine. Ladies, if you're watching, you're welcome to have a look, but I think you'll be pretty bored. But, you know, I've got nothing against ladies taking a look at our magazine. I'm sure they'd be quite interested. Guys, go over there. It's free. Just put your name in, and you can have a copy of that. Not the physical copy, the online copy. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and comment. Thumbs up if you can, please, guys. It helps all our sponsors. It doesn't give me any extra income or anything. It just gives me a nice tap on the back for a job well done, and that you guys have enjoyed watching what I've put together here. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes time on this. It's not just a case of sticking an iPhone in, you know. There's microphones, there's cables, there's all sorts of stuff. And obviously, my good friend JP, who does all our camera work when we're outside filming all this stuff. So thanks, JP, appreciate it too, mate. Guys, catch you next week with another car, or is it an interview? Is it a boat? Who knows? Check back next week, leave the bell sign unchecked, and I'll see you then. In the meantime, take it easy out there, enjoy life, and safe driving if you are going anywhere. See you later.